He looks like Pioshik's father in some ways in this one. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, son, you did good. You're gonna do it again. Pioshik's like, it's hard, man.
It's all right, buddy.
I do think that so many big picks are gone now. Like, we are really down to
Yunara.
Like, Yunara is still up. Pantheon, Orianna. But when it gets that thin, it's very easy to ban all of those, and they likely will be banned. I'm kind of surprised that D+ goes first pick. This makes the job even easier here for DN Supers to take those away. I think Pantheon goes right here. Okay, well, they say Orianna, but I think the Pantheon will go right into the second box.
Or maybe the third one, depending on how they're feeling.
Now, they could try to say, look, I'd like to trade Yunara for Pantheon, but I wouldn't take that trade, to be honest, just simply because both these AD carries are pretty insane, and there's a lot of playmaking power there.
Yeah, I wouldn't put a top-tier hyper carry in Smash's hands, like, especially with the way that game 1 and 2 went, and then he was put on Jhin in that comp, and then it looked very different. I think if you're DK, you just kind of want to draft like you did in the first couple of games, and Yunara makes that very easy. They're going to take away the Lucian, which I think is another good choice.
I think Diablo made a pretty big statement that lead into a Fearless series, the Lucian, when there's not that many engage tools to kill him. And Milio says, you shoot far. He does.
Milio does say that. That's basically his only voice line.
He says it in a very cute, childlike voice.
You shoot far.
Yeah.
And that's all.
Silas. It's an interesting ban here.
Is this like the first day of LCK Cup? It's like, oh, they banned Silas. They're going to pick Malphite.
I don't think Malphite really holds that much water here.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, there could be an angle later on, but it's not a first pick
available still. But, yeah.
Do you ban Pantheon or you ban Yunara? It's really tough. Like, I was leaning towards Pantheon, but I kind of thought they'd do both and try to build the composition around counter picks on second pick here, but Smash is not going to be playing Yunara. Showmaker looking to build a Magi Soul Stealer.
So I thought that was the easiest, just smash that Yunara pick, first pick I've ever seen. Instead, they pick Ahri.
And Nico is available. So what lane are you going to have to beat this one?
What did
Alistar into it? Question mark.
What does Ahri go with that's still available? That she has to be this highly prioritized?
Lissandra Drungle.
Yeah.
No.
I think you're right. I think that's the only one that's left.
Smash is like, oh, I don't want to play anything into this. Maybe we just try to lob bombs and zigs.
So stressed.
Now, Ashe Seraphine, I guess, wins. There you go. Then you charm into a charm. So you can charm them while you charm them.
Yeah.
Some people will get that reference. Exhibit
I guess that's an old one, yeah. Exhibit A. I like that. Kennen. Definitely.
So Kennen feels like a Gnar deterrent pick. Yeah. And this works well with the Pop Blossom.
Yeah, it's another circle. It's gonna win pretty much any lane, especially with Aurora out of the picture in the top lane now. I feel like it's a good blind pick, so you can hold your counter for later, especially for Pioshik, right? Who is somebody who can get value out of counter pick jungle.
Say Yorick is gone, so I kind of struggle into this. Does feel like a smart protection ban. They want the Gnar to come out. Gnar also really struggled to get value here without a perfect Gnar bar setup. Ooh, this is gonna get interesting now because we're moving into the territory of what picks set up the Seraphine to find success. Like Maokai, by the way, pretty good in this scenario. Shuts down both the Kennen, trying to find the angle, as well as the Nico. It can hold the Yunara in place. It might need to look.
Jace. Another pick that could have been played in the top lane into the Kennen.
Yeah, Kennen versus Jace we had once. I don't want to talk about that game. Is it the Maokai angle? Is this the B&K special?
Yasuo. I mean, Yasuo can block a lot of the stuff on T+.
That's true. Also, like, you know, big Pop Blossom.
Yeah.
Bit of a combo.
Right.
Hecarim! speak it, and it will at least tease you with a hover. And it works well in this draft. Honestly, you can go around the Seraphine, but so can the Fury's W. And so I suppose it worked yesterday, and he's going to hope to pull this one out for success here again to bring it to 5. Is it Maokai time? Lucid's Maokai made Chronicler grab onto things tightly many a time.
It's about as angry as he would get. Scion.
Scion first. Try to absorb that pressure front to back.
Sounds fine.
Another great setup for the Seraphine ult to extend. Very easy.
Yeah. But now you're playing this kind of front to back comp with Ahri Ashe. I don't know. I'm just not really seeing it. Like,
what if you hold them in position?
Where's the third threat here? What is Lucid playing? Kindred? I don't know. There's just...
That would be kind of cool.
Aatrox?
Aatrox, another great extender for the Seraphine. And we'll get a ton of value out of the sustain Seraphine brings on that 2-item spike with a diadem. I didn't really think about this because this has fallen off in a huge way, but I do think it absolutely works. It's a really nice stroke of the draft here by CVMax to pull this one out. And I already said it before, so I'm not going to say it again, but this is going to offer a lot of extra damage for closer here on this Victor. Some zoning tools, but it's tough into Ashe Arrow, Charm, this insane front line. Victor has to play very safe. There are 3 major threats in terms of damage here in this composition, and there are really 2 tools to get on top of the back line, but arguably 3. It depends on how, obviously, the cannon decides to ultimate. Does he want to ult for peel for the Yunar? Does he want to ult for backline access? I did not think I was going to like where this draft ended for D+, but ultimately the Scion and the Aatrox really kind of save it for me. I like their angle here, and it may just be that I'm not as sold on Closer's ability to play the Victor. He could have played Lissandra here as well. I don't know why I'm stuck on the Lissandra a little bit today, but could have worked as a nice follow-up, a little bit of extra mobility.
I'm not as sold, I think, on the D+ Kia comp. Like, obviously, it has ways that it can work. I think it has some nice cohesiveness where you survive forever. You've got a great front line. You have maybe enough damage with the Aatrox. There's not a lot of tanks on the other side. There are ways to make it work, but you've also got Smash playing Ashe. I don't know. I don't know. I need to see it in action, and we'll just have to wait and see from the side of D+ Kia. As looks like we're just about ready to go, or rather, let's jump onto the Rift for game number 4.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
She was like, marked. Got that one.
Check. Yep. Check. By the way, DK did break their red side losing streak.
True.
With game number 1, which they did win. So now they're 1-4.
The possibilities are endless on red side now.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
There are a few players who... Okay, well, this is very scary. Very scary level 1 Ashe. They do fine. Doctor, I'm going to take a minute to stack his Q. But there are a few players, and 2 players really that come to mind for me. Zeka and Closer, who you're like, I love them on the melees. They can play that solid as here. They're like a little Zoe and Orianna in their life. But when it comes to pulling out the Victor, you're like, I don't know if that's really in your main skill set box. Because Closer, obviously very strong player, has a lot of experience playing Victor and mages in the past. But Closer's the proactive mid laner who likes to go in and make the play and set his teammates up for success, like the Galio, the Yone, the Akali, the Sylas. He has been often called by many budget Zeka for that reason. And I see Victor and I go, I think back to Zeka's Victor game, the finals of LCK 2025. Pioshik is coming for an early gank here. This is Raptor-esque.
They're going to know, though, because, I mean, they should know. Okay, I guess they're not going to know. But the root is going to miss. Regardless.
When they saw that root miss, they knew.
They know something. They have learned something. Pioshik going for the early gank. He was able to avoid the hawk shot, but I think they shot it to the top side of the jungle and didn't see any dogs, so they should have known, okay, well, he's probably somewhere around the bottom side.
Yeah, they probably made the call, big dog.
Yeah.
And then clasped hands together.
Big hot dog.
And that was when they knew that Peter would miss the flash route, so they just decided to stay.
Honestly, a good call. That's a good idea. Still is going to be a lot of damage done to Smash.
I think it's kind of okay, though, because he has a Seraphine with him. They end up crashing this wave in. And so, flash down for Peter.
Yeah, just anything to take a little bit of the edge off, because this lane is obviously still going to be very annoying. But at least if you put Smash a little bit behind, makes it so maybe D plus Kia consider twice going as aggressively as maybe they would like to. As Pioshik down a level says, I can avoid a lot of your stuff.
Pioshik is like, it turns out that sweet spot's a little lower cooldown than the gold card I was interacting with yesterday. I'm going to have to play this a little differently.
Yeah, he's learning. But Lucid, understandably, was able to farm his jungle, hits level 4, and he is invading with that level lead. Pioshik obviously not able to be at the same speed because he ganked bot.
Yeah, and Victor will take a while to come up here.
He's winning this trade, by the way. Lucid up a level.
Eventually those dogs stack up, and much like a hot dog eating contest, eventually you're kind of like, you're starting to feel a little full, Lucid. And also the burn damage from the Q, it's just going to be a smite fight.
Does go over to Lucid. Nicely done.
Finds himself a full level down as a result of it. Despite the heroics. That clone did not have a good time.
No, it did not. Insta death for that guy. And Lucid, this is kind of what you want on the jungle Aatrox, just kind of farm it out and eventually be a big threat in the later team fights. You're not necessarily looking to be super aggro or get these giant ganks off. I mean, maybe he can make something happen onto the Victor would probably be the easiest place, or bot lane, obviously.
Yeah. And when you have the skirmishing power of this Aatrox in mid-game team fights, with the Seraphine, with the Ashe, that's why I trust this comp, because it's already pretty tough to kill Aatrox. That's kind of his thing. He's like, oh, you hurt me, and then I heal to full and don't care. Then he's got Seraphine giving him extra shields, a little bit of healing there. And if he's just between the Seraphine and the bad guys, he's the extender. That's the same for Shio, of course. We're talking about the ultimate of Seraphine that career can extend if he hits an ally on the way, which means it's really difficult to set up for a Pot Blossom fight, or if you have choke point control for the Kennen to get in, he has to flank on the other side. He might find himself getting Ashe arrowed. And I know we say this a lot, and I probably am the biggest preacher of this, but obviously map control, vision, that sort of stuff gives you more agency with this Kennen.
Wolf turret enjoyers.
Yes.
No Zoe in this game, though.
No. Just a very obvious thing, but it's true that without the vision, and with the Seraphine holding choke points, and with no way for the Kennen to get to the back line, you have to run through a Seraphine ult and an Ashe arrow, and then the healing that's going to keep this Scion Aatrox alive to get stuff done. Duckdom's going to have to auto a lot, is really what I'm getting at here. And heal deny items will be very helpful.
We got a very slow dragon started up here by Lucid. He has so much prio from bot, as Dudu's going to go in for a trade against Shiyu. It will be a advantageous trade, but at the end of the day, it is Scion. We do have Pioshik in the pit.
Yeah, Pioshik is ready to challenge this. No ultimates for the supports here.
I mean, he wasn't able to deny the smite, but it looks like Lucid's got his upgraded, whereas we don't have the same for Pioshik, so wasn't really much of a flip after all.
21 to 19, you could see it there on the pets. I mean, the fact that it came down to being as close as that was pretty interesting. If there was a mistake made, Pioshik could just get a huge win. Speaking of mistakes made, not really. That's not fair. Actually, honestly, that's not fair. That's,
poor career.
Just, mistakes made, mistakes made.
Yeah.
He
that
dies. He's fine. Have to use his sums. He's okay. Not going to really hurt them too bad. Like, they're backing anyways. Career delayed Peter's back right there.
Absolutely.
He's been eating a lot of flack recently. And obviously that last Bard game was about as inspiring as the one before that. But at the same time, He's fine. It's okay. He's a big part of this composition. They have put him on these enchanters. They've decided that's his role. Not sure if he necessarily agrees with it, but he's going to be a big part of this game.
Yeah, I think his Leona was pretty good. You know, like him on the very close there from Showmaker, actually trying to force the Spirit Rush. Is closer, and Showmaker holds the entire way. But now he has basically 0 health, so...
Yeah, that's going to be plate gold and some minions denied.
But it was really cool how he used absolutely nothing.
He
and
did survive.
Also gained absolutely nothing.
It was pretty close to getting stuck by the gravity field.
Yeah.
That would have been certain death if he did not flash and was stunned there. Level 6 advantage for Peter briefly here. I mean, very briefly. Well, like I said, that was
for him as Duck.
Ah, yes, yes.
Nico still fooling us in 2026. The roots are coming in, and there is the flash forced. His career does hit level 6 himself.
So now Peter has level 6 ult advantage.
He does. It's true. No flash, though. So.
Double sums picked up here. Dudu's been playing this matchup very aggressively and has generated a pretty significant lead. On the other side of things, Lucid is the big lead here for D+. With the farm advantage he has, he also holds half a level lead. And now this bottom duo needs some help to get back to their turret. Please help, yes. Peter says.
They have fallen and they can't get up.
Pressed his life alert.
And it's true. It's the right idea to back away, but it doesn't stop the bleeding all too much.
Shapirshik is telling him he needs $19.99 plus shipping and handling, or he is not going to that bottom lane.
Yep. You can press the button all you want.
Okay, Showmaker is not really controlling this lane the way I thought he might. He has obviously had very little jungle attention. Oh!
Big arrow gonna force a flash. Nice one there from Smash.
Smash attention is real, though.
And Victor loving this 1v1. Showmaker going in, but guess who's here as well? It is the Nico and the Nafiri. The charm comes in and Showmaker just dies instead. As now Lucid is just, lone wolf dying to Pyoshik. And that's 2 kills over to the side of DNS just like that, 10 minutes in.
Not necessary is, I think, maybe the 2 words that first come to my mind for Showmaker going back in like that. I think everything else was pretty forgivable. As Lucid was there first, and he thought he had an angle. Flashless, dead. Rod of Ages picked up here for closer. This Dragon spawns in 1 minute here. DNS looking to try to even that up. Pretty unfortunate scenario for D+, and a lot of the lead that was there for the Aatrox is now just gone. As first, closer flashes, so I think this is why Showmaker is like, you know what, I think there's some play here.
Lucid's like, I just want to do the grubs, man.
Lucid was a little bit late. He was here first, but he wasn't close enough. And then this, no. We could say it was a charming play, I suppose.
Who was he charming with that?
Me, I was a little charmed.
Closer.
Wow, nice little,
Only closer.
I was charmed by it. I was like, wow, Showmaker, they thought he was an angle there. And they're like, he didn't miss. He didn't miss.
At least he didn't miss. Imagine if he did that and he missed.
Peter says, please don't remind them.
We can start playing Silver Scrapes right now.
Okay. I want to say slightly less precarious lead for DNS. The lead that we talked about last time where they had about so much gold the advantage in game 2.
I mean, especially with a comp like this where you've got Duckdom on Unara, and he has to play an Ashe Seraphine. It's very annoying, had to back off of a wave, but it's only 200 gold behind. It's not the end of the world. Rest of your team has got a nice lead. This is not going to feel good for them, though. A Smash being very annoying on the Ashe.
That's another wave gone, and there's no answer.
Oh, in fact, land the root on a Peter who just throws up the Pop Blossom and says, witness me. Dudu, on the other hand, is also not having too much fun against Shu here. But it's Sion.
I'm not sure exactly how that... It must have been a large trading pattern that eventually gave him a big enough edge. Smash is ultless, but he is also kind of close by, so Pyoshik may want to think twice about this, as he is going to show up, and Pyoshik's like, oh, not again.
Just going to try to steal it, not going to get it.
And like the way that bottom side, like the timing for that play from Smash and Career there is enough to get them 2 dragons in a row into Cloud Soul here with this composition. Pretty insane. And DNS lead significantly diminished, but now against double dragon, not feeling like you have a ton of ins in terms of slowing this game down for this Victor to really truly come online. I mean, he is already a bit of a threat, bit of a lead, but he still needs more time before he just presses R and everybody is in awe.
Yeah.
Peter, no ult, so this is a tough scrap to commit to.
Going all in onto Lucid, who does have the World Ender and his Flash available. Pyosik trying to get something, but instead he will get nothing.
A lot of damage, though. If there was a dragon up, would feel real nice.
Yeah.
However,
it's a bit of a charming play, you know?
Yes.
It's like, oh yeah, cool fight, okay.
I was going to say maybe
I see where you're going with this.
He once again shows he's got that dog in him.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we get the confirmation. I wasn't sure. Even though yesterday did happen.
He was deathless yesterday, currently deathless. It was a bit of a tough situation for them yesterday. Currently a bit of a tough situation for them. It was Infernal Soul yesterday. It's Cloud Soul this time, so maybe that part
it's a little bit different. Yeah,
not gonna help him, but
Pyosik here with no ult. He's still got that dog in him. He's just gonna jump away. They're trying to handle the Ashe Seraphine. I do like the way that Smash and Career are playing this, where they're trying to just squeeze out as much as they possibly can. Every Drake, all of the leads, get as many turret plates as possible, make sure all the Ashe arrows are doing something, even if it's stopping a back.
If, you know, Peter was able to make some sort of flash Pop Blossom play there, I think that would have been great, right? It would have stopped them, but instead it's just more advantages stacking up here. Full control of the bottom side remains. And it's going to be a while before we could talk about Duck-Tom scaling in this game. I think that the way that these comps interact with each other, though, is more about not the gold lead, not the item advantage, but map control, as I mentioned before, and how much agency Dudu has. Because Dudu is also going to be a big threat in this game. And if everyone is able to kind of just wrap around the line of the Seraphine ult and find their way in, or collapse on a flanking Aatrox, for example, and kill him when he's isolated with the CC that they have, they can just win team fights later on, despite this somewhat disadvantageous position they find themselves in right now. The Ashe Seraphine are much larger than them at this moment. And there's so many other scaling elements like the Victor here too. So this game is still very close. D+ need to make sure they don't make any large errors.
Yeah, it's very much trying to get as much as you possibly can. Showmaker, unfortunately, for his sake, they first pick Ahri for him. And, you know, Ahri is generally going to be okay just to get through lane, but does not have a fun time in a Victor, notably. And we've seen that in the 1v1. Showmaker's like, well, I kind of just lose lane, and they haven't been able to utilize the Ahri at all for any kind of set play. And now she's level 11 with no real, you know, big ult play that we've seen in this game. So still waiting for that first pick Ahri to do something.
Yeah, and Closer has turned this Victor champ into a closer champ in this matchup, where he's just constantly putting the aggression on, getting those aggressive trades. And the good news is that, if you're a Showmaker fan, you like to see that Dark Seal. Because usually Showmaker has a pretty high win rate when he ever buys this item. But the real point I was going to make is that his Rod of Ages is so late that when it does transform, he'll get so much value out of it.
So where's Pyosik going with this one? He does have his flash.
W-Town.
Yeah. I guess so.
His ring finger was ready, Valdez. That's where it was going.
Ring finger on W, that's crazy. Shouldn't it be on Q? Dude, do you have your pinky on Q?
As long as I press W with ring, sometimes. I might be a bit of a psychopath,
that's
but
a bit non-standard, but you are a lefty, so I guess par for the course. They're trying to take down Dudu here with pretty much everything, and I think they will be successful. They do take him out, although the Rift Herald will go the way of DNS. Pyosik picks up the eye, and now just has to try to survive with that one. Duck-Tom also in a rough spot, is going to have to flash away, but yeah, no volleys here. Flash forward from Xiu. Not quite going to be enough damage, though, and now Xiu kind of in no man's land, but not like they can really punish him.
He's too tanky. He should be able to get out of here no problem. TP to the bottom lane.
Oh, okay. I mean, they're going to take the Gromp away.
The more time they keep D+ here, the more value Closer gets on the opposite side, as Lucid will get this steal away. But Closer made a very clear choice that he was just going to go straight to sides here. So the cannon agency was there in this fight, sort of. Because the fact that he's flanking here means that D+ need to keep the focus on him, because if they ignore him, then he's going to have an amazing flank here, and Duckdom's going to clean up house, right? And they just drop the Herald entirely. His sacrifice gets them the Herald. As I thought with the quick cut, we had something happening in live.
Yeah.
But the sacrifice for him does end up getting them the Herald. If he didn't flash there, I think they'd feel even better about it.
Yeah. So it looks like Dipliskia kind of just have to give this Drake away. You can see Lucid's hanging around, but just kind of waiting in the lack of vision. DNS going to move forward as a team, though, after the Drake take. And actually a nice little stun on a Lucid who's taking a bunch of residual damage. The arrow comes out, hits nothing. Pioshik just dodging everything.
And she was getting some alone time here with this turret. Doesn't have TP. This is something that DNS were aware of. And they also got the turret in the bottom side I was mentioning that Closer was hitting before they get the dragon. So they take a gold lead, actually, after this set of plays. A very close game, to be sure. But I think this victor is really what's keeping DNS in it. Duda did not ult there. Neither he held onto it. And Pioshik was able to get away with his W and movement alone. And we reset, we go again. This game is one of the games that makes you like kind of hold your breath.
Yeah.
Because you know at any moment, we're so close. This game is so close, but it's also with these two comps, so volatile and so easy to clean up. There's no escape. Like it's Ashe on one side, it's the Kennen, the Victor, Chaos Storm exploding on the other side, or Arcane Storm, whatever they call it now. And then you know that like if it's a full clean ace in any next team fight for either side, if you're D+, like, oh god, it's done. Like we're gonna get reverse sweeped. If you're DNS, that's it. That's your tournament, right? And so both teams are playing very carefully, very slowly. And it's a 4-kill game at nearly 20 minutes here with so much patience as a result. Like the stakes could not be higher here for DNS. And they have the win cons. Actualizer's second item here for Victor as Closer's about to transform his rod. He is about to be pretty huge in this game pretty early.
Yeah, it's going to be gigantic. And they don't really have a good answer for him outside of CC chaining him to death. So positioning going to be critical here for Closer. For Closer and Duckdom, really, I mean, we're going to have the cleanse available for Duckdom, not the same for Closer. A Showmaker, he just doesn't really exist in this game. Like, every lane he goes to, he's just getting bullied, and now he gets stunned up past the Spirit Rush away.
I don't know if that's worth for Dudu, though, because I think he kind of just had him bullied, and he ulted so early that Pioshik couldn't come in and secure the kill. They don't get the flash either.
And now they're just going to ult on a Lucid. They know they have the advantage, and they're going to find this Aatrox as there's the Encore. Doesn't really do anything, as that Nefiri getting so much value, avoiding all the CC. Slow comes down on a smash, and that's just going to be Rift Herald into the mid lane turret. DNS are snowballing big time right now.
They really are. This is the kind of win con you want to have here in this mid game.
Yeah, I don't... Okay, well, he's going to TP in, get rooted, and now he's half health again.
He absorbs some of their buttons, so the turret lives. Calculated.
Hashtag worth.
As Showmaker has been a bit of a punching bag in this one. No other real way to say it, but they're now looking for their own punch back onto this mid turret, but it will be cleared this way very quickly. Smash careful. So the play from Dudu, I don't know if he needed to commit the ult necessarily, but he's able to push Showmaker away. And then for some reason, Lucid in career is still just kind of out in no man's land, knowing that DNS have that push on the bottom lane and can wrap around very quickly and have great CC for this Aatrox, who doesn't have any real peel here. The Ash Arrow attempt was cute. Career obviously trying his best to look for that follow-up Encore, but yeah, that's a big win here for DNS, who get it right with the Herald dropping. And D+, I think, a little greed around that one.
Yeah, it kind of looked like they were pushing forward, jungle and support together, trying to get some vision down, but you don't know where Nefiri is. Your Ahri just essentially got put off the map for 30 seconds, and even if she TPs in, like, he's not going to be able to do anything, so Got to be careful and pick and choose the right timings to go for vision like that. Otherwise, you know, there's so much catch potential and damage here on the side of DNS.
You also really just got to, you know, communicate with each other about, like, Luzit, you need to leave now. Like, as you're recalling, you need to be like, you need to be out of there yesterday because they are coming. As Dudu is having a phenomenal series. I think very quietly having a very consistent performance here. And he is the one who was able to push the Ahri away. Now controlling this lane, and we'll have a Crystalline Overgrowth to proc to grab the turret. He's looking for a second item here very soon. And even though it's only the burn urn, that damage does add up over time as he continues to harass. Dragon control loosely in the favor of D+ here for their sole point take potentially, but they cannot start it, and then eventually DNS are going to group and start to contest that. As Closer's about to hit level 16, he is so huge on this Victor right now with the Actualizer. I think Actualizer's second, a little bit niche, but in this game with the lead he had, I think absolutely warranted. Because the Rod of Ages is going to give you enough survivability alone. You don't really need Seraphs in this game. You know, you don't need to go tier and play for that.
So they are set up here on this Dragon, but DNS are not going to let them get this one for free. And already the damage is being done here. Shiu trying his best to zone away Closer. Not going to be very successful. It goes down to 1 health, and Pyoshing is able to get it as they're charging into a Slicing Maelstrom. Generally not the right call. As no stun goes on to Dudu, and now Peter finds the angle from the top side, but the damage follow-up isn't there. As Duckdom desperately trying to do something, but he is just backing away, and it looks like DK at least are able to clean up the fight in a big way. And now they're moving towards that Baron.
Yeah, Closer's E's do a lot of damage, but with this Seraphine, the heals will come through, and even has his heal summoner here, and I think that the damage will largely be blocked, and they can now just take this out. Doesn't have his second item yet, Career, but was very patient with his Encore in that fight. Could have used it instantly there to try to lock down the cannon, but he knew the damage had been done. The cannon was essentially neutralized by the arrow. They couldn't follow up on him because he instantly ulted, but they're like, okay, cool. Now we can move. Now we can breathe in this fight. As I watch it again, they get the smite. Dudu gets caught here by the arrow, gets hit by Shiu, and his ultimate's gone, and now they're like, all right, slow play. We're Ashe Seraphine. Don't have to look for the angle right now. Duckdom is trying to play through his flash here, and Peter gets the Pop Blossom. The late Encore is so effective, and Closer is doing so much damage, but when the backbone of this comp falls apart, Duckdom has to get out. He also has to leave. That was a very clean play from D+, but they do not secure the Dragon, importantly. So, yes, they take a gold lead. The game is still incredibly close.
Yeah, they get that Baron, and I think utilizing that, try to take down some of these outer turrets, or at least the one in the bottom lane, would be pretty nice to try to solidify a gold lead and make sure that their next fight looks even better.
With the Baron, if they can get deep vision up around this next Dragon, like there's a minute of time between the Dragon and this Baron expiring, but if they can use this for perma-prio, set up that vision, Career has flash, right? He's going to get that second item. I actually went Moonstone, in fact. Didn't even realize that. So his diadem is very late. But he does get that item eventually, the diadem. It's going to be huge for him. Moonstone feels fine, honestly, in this case, in this game state. And this Aatrox is a huge threat. And if given enough frontline and Smash gets big enough, he's closer to that IE. It's actually very close to it. D+ can actually still win this game, and for so long it looked like it was not possible.
Yeah, looking pretty good for them now. I like how they're taking as much as they possibly can off of the map. It looks like DNS are essentially saying, well, okay, we lost that fight, we lost the Baron, we can't force a fight here where Duckdom doesn't have any sums, and, you know, they're just having so much pushing power and map control in this game. They're just trying to clear the waves and essentially not die and let the game go away just yet. But that just means that D+ Kia are going to get this very strong lead now.
Shiu just needs to mark the cannon because they didn't have vision between mid and obviously where they're pushing here heavily in the bottom lane. But as long as Cannon can't find that flank angle, I really don't think there's any threat here.
And you can see already a bunch of damage is going to go into Closer. He's just going to flash away. They don't want to play any part in these team fights right now while the Baron push is going.
Yeah, but that might have been enough to really knock down this inhibitor turret. Still 30 seconds left on this Baron, and there's a cannon minion here. Peter?
Okay, Peter gonna go for it, forces a couple of flashes, but might have to pay for it with his life, although Lucid just gets burned down, nobody able to heal him up. It's now Pyosik, the only one to get charmed, and Showmaker just on the run. You'd see a lot of damage done to the side of DNS, but they stopped the push for now.
Someone had to pull the trigger, or that inhibitor turret was gonna go, and once it goes, the next wave hits. And so that was a really aggressive play, very high risk. And remember, tournament life on the line. Duckdom and Peter, world finalists. Duckdom walks forward to do the damage. Peter ends up hitting the Pop Blossom. And this is without Dudu. You know, if the cannon is here, this is an easy cleanup, which is why that marking by Shiu is so important. And Pyosik presses W here knowing, well, that's the end of that. But getting kills, getting a full wipe, that was never really on the cards. Defending that inhibitor turret, keeping that base alive, keeping that win con for D+ to grab this Infernal, or rather a Cloud Soul point through that bottom inhibitor is no longer an issue for them. And there's a window of time here for DNS to kind of clear up some of that vision, clear up some of that map control, and go again. Opting in, Dudu is for the Arm Guard, the third item. Not rushing a Void Staff or anything like that, just wants that extra playmaking here. Third item hit for Duckdom. LDR, so important at crushing this frontline Scion.
Yeah.
And of course, the IE is done for Smash and has been for a little while now. 80 carries here at similar power levels. It's all about that setup.
Yeah, I mean, if you're D plus Kia and you've got Scion, Seraphine, as that's going to be a very nice arrow here in Pyosik, who already takes a ton of damage, does go up into the sky. Shiu desperately trying to ult into him and take out the big dog. He's not going to be successful in doing that, but Duckdom kind of in the front line here. They're looking to take him out, trying to block with the clone as well, as Duckdom is flying very close to the sun, but he's going to live, as now Showmaker desperately trying to get on in there, and he will be successful due to not finding the slicing maelstrom he was looking for, and it's only Closer. As waiting for a charm to come through, he is going to hit it, and the slows are going to come through. It looks like Smash will take him down for the triple kill as D+ take a huge fight.
Despite Peter's best efforts to keep Duckers alive, he goes down, and D+, 50 seconds on the victor. They think they might have an angle here to look for the end. Showmaker backs, grabs the bloodletters, and Pyosik here has to do some shenanigans to buy time. I don't think it's going to be enough. Big wave.
He can't get close enough to clear the waves, and Peter on the Nico, he's going to try to land a root, but they just encore and burst him out, and all they have to do is hit the Nexus, and Smash takes one better than that. Looks like D+ Kia will be moving on to the next round against T1 as they take out DNS in a 3-1 fashion.
The front line of Shiu and Lucid, so he just has to leave. And man, Peter, he tried. He really did here. Look at where Duckdom is. He's chasing Showmaker down. He's like, I can't get past the Ash. Like, I don't know how I'm going to rejoin. Just watch Duckdom. He dashes here. He's like, let me get back to my teammates. And then he's like, oh, I got to flash the Scion Q. Pop Blossom behind space. He dashes away again. Gets the kill. And you're like, okay, maybe. And Showmaker says, misses the kill. And he says, He kills him. That's not what he said. You can see in the comms that's in fact not what he said, but mentally. And not today, Duckers.
Showmaker was like, come on, I got him. With the charm. And he absolutely did. Good call from Showmaker. Big plays there towards the end after being kind of useless most of this game. Well, not most of the game. At least the early to mid parts. You know, he got bullied out by the cannon, but
honestly,
then
a lot of the game
he did a lot.
For DNS was centered around the fact that Showmaker had no presence in the side lane. Was able to get them a lot, get them those dragons back. But yeah, like you said, otherwise pretty muted.
Yeah, Duckdom did 900 more damage than Peter's Nico. It's not really his fault necessarily, although the positioning in that last fight was not great. I just feel like he was not online when they needed him. As Smash is going to pick up the player of the match. Had an excellent Ezreal game as Aphelios did almost 16k damage in the last team fight of game 2. And then he was forced to play Jhin, and we were all like, what the hell?
Yeah.
This guy just carried you. And then he played Ashe, and they won the lane, so not too surprising.
They won the lane, he had some great